malware and how it will work. All the some kind of scenarios also we'll try to analyze. So I'll try to go at the abstraction level so that everybody can understand, and if required we can discuss in depth also. So basically, first of all, we'll understand what is a malware and how many types of malware we have in our software systems, and what are the major type of malware we'll be seeing in our day-to-day routine life, maybe to our laptops or mobiles or desktops, right? So the basic word of malware has come from these two separate words: malicious software, and this software that can be used to compromise computer functions or steal data or bypass any access controls or any other harm which is caused to your host machine or your laptop or desktop or mobile, whatever it may be. So whatever may be the malware we have, that is also a piece of code or it is a software already written by some of the hackers or attackers. So that piece of code will try to inject something in your system, and it will try to affect your what you call personally identifiable information. Like they'll be trying to steal your sensitive information like bank account number, credit card information, username, passwords, and what is your browsing pattern, like which bank website you are frequently using. So that they'll try to analyze your patterns, and they'll try to cause some harm to your profile. Maybe that harm related to the financial or some kind of private information leak. So many kinds of harms are there. So those all comes under the category of malware. So this malware is a broad term that refers to the variety of malicious programs. So when we talk about what is a secure system, so we have our own laptops or computer machines, and we have our own mobile phones or any other gadgets, electronic gadgets. Can we guarantee that device is a 100% secure one? We cannot say that 100% secure. Why? Because there might be some of the bugs or vulnerabilities existing in the software of your corresponding electronic device, which is not known to anyone. That might be there, but till now no one has discovered that vulnerability. Then what happens? Some other day in the future, some attacker or some researcher or activist who is trying to analyze the systems, they will identify that bug or vulnerability, and if they are with the malicious intention, what they will do, they will try to affect all the systems which are having that vulnerability, right? So that kind of vulnerabilities may arise at any point of time and by anybody. We cannot guarantee that any system is 100% secure, right? When we can say one device is 100% secure, whenever it is in the switched off condition and it is in a locked room, then we can say physically it is secured, as well as software wise also it is secure. Otherwise it is not secure. There might be one or more bugs or vulnerabilities existing in the software. We cannot 100% give the guarantee that this device or software is bug free or vulnerability free. So if we see some of the statistics, 90% of the popular companies got hacked. That means they are unable to analyze the software properly, and there are some pre-existing bugs which are known or unknown bugs. So if it is already known, they will be fixing it. If it is already not known to anybody at the time of analysis, they will be residing in the software itself. In future, somebody will identify that vulnerability and they will try to take the advantage of that. So because of these two reasons, many of the popular companies got hacked multiple times. So these are very much popular companies which are also under this infection. So Microsoft, Sony, Wipro, and so many other popular companies software got hacked. And moreover, 60% of the company's softwares has got hacked twice. That means even though they have fixed some of the vulnerabilities available in the software, some more vulnerabilities are getting erased, right? So they are not properly analyzing and they don't have the awareness about the security. So awareness also will be in terms of two levels. One level will be for the developer. While developing the software, they need to analyze how to develop the software in a secure fashion with respect to the coding and all. Other entities like with respect to the user, whoever is using the software, they should know what are the secure practices to use the softwares, right? So let us say if we take any software where we need to configure that software in our system. So if the person who is configuring that software, he does not know the secure configuration, what will happen? He might be configuring it something else, which may lead to entire system compromise, right? So like that, we have various levels of security. We need to follow the security at all the levels. Before following that, first of all, we need to analyze what kind of scenarios are there. How can I avoid those scenarios with respect to developer as well as user? Both the things we need to analyze. And 50% of the companies are unsure about the hack, whatever is happened on their software. Their softwares are got already hacked, but they don't know anything about their software hacking and all. Still, they are using the software, and the hacked virus or malware is not leaving any traces for the user to understand whether the software is intact or it is infected or compromised. Right? They are not sure that it is hacked or safe. So with this introduction, I would like to go for just brief discussion about what are the various categories of malware and what are the brief behavior of each. So just I'll at very brief level, I'll just introduce you this terminology. So the very first one, all of us will be knowing about that. At least we might have heard about this word, which is virus. So what this virus will do is like we'll be having so many files in our system. So if you are using Windows operating system, we'll be having system32 folder or program files folder. So many folders we have. So all those are the system related files. Those are not specific to any application. So now what will happen? There are some of the application related files. Let us say you are installing Adobe PDF Reader. Now for Adobe PDF Reader, there will be some libraries. Whenever you are installing it, it will ask you for the root privileges because those libraries needs to be stored in the corresponding root level directories, right? So what will happen now if a virus has injected into your system or electronic device, maybe a computer, laptop, or whatever it is. So it will try to identify some of the critical files like application related file or system related file and all, and it will try to inject this virus code inside that file. So let us say we have some 10 lines of code in the original file. Now it will try to add some more lines of this virus code. Let us say from 11th to 15th line. Those 5 lines belongs to the virus code. Okay, now what happens whenever you access that corresponding application like Adobe PDF Reader, it will also try to execute the next 5 lines, which is nothing but the virus code. It will open your application, that means PDF Reader, as well as it will also run your virus code. Like that, how many times you are opening the application or PDF Reader, Adobe Reader, those many number of times this virus also will get executed, right? So that is the behavior of this virus. It copies itself to the other files, and it needs a host file to propagate and execute. So that is what we have discussed now, and these are some of the examples of popular viruses. And the second category comes to worms. So these are like mostly spreading over the network. So let us say your system is having some vulnerabilities, or inside the system, whatever the applications you have, some of those applications are vulnerable to some of the injections. Then what will happen? Attacker will try to analyze your entire system fingerprint or footprint, and he will try to analyze is any of the existing software vulnerable or not. If something is vulnerable, immediately what he will do, corresponding to that vulnerability, whatever virus or worm code, whatever the malware code he has, that will be sent to your system. immediately what it will do, that code will try to execute in your system, and then it will give the access to the attacker. Okay, so in case of worm, what it will do is like it will not only compromise that current system. So let us say in an enterprise you will be having a LAN network. Inside the LAN network we might be connecting hundreds of PCs. Now out of 100 only one PC got infected and worm has attacked into that PC. Now what it will do is like it will infect the current PC, as well as it will identify it is connected to which network, and it will go via the network and it will scan all the other PCs in the LAN. So with that it can understand what are the applications, or what is the fingerprint of that system or footprint of the system, and again it will send that data to the attacker. So based on that fingerprint or footprint, attacker will try to send the corresponding malware to that system. Okay, so like that worm will try to spread over the network and it will try to infect more systems in the network. So next one is the logic bomb. So logic bomb is like the name itself indicates, it is a kind of bomb. It will blow at some particular instance of time. So that particular instance of time is based on some logic. Logic is nothing but some piece of code. So in our software itself, maybe I'll give some example. You might have heard about some 2010 or some year. Some people said like, okay, on December 31st, all the devices will get compromised. So that is like only by using logic bomb, we can ensure that kind of attacks. What I'll write is like, if the date matches with December 31st of so and so year, you execute this functionality in the software. So like that, they'll write some logic, and whenever the logic is erased in the software, that means whenever the date is matched with the system date, immediately the corresponding logic bomb will be activated. So once it is activated, inside that logic bomb, we can write whatever we want. We may ask for the remote control of the system, or we may ask some details to be captured from the system and sent to the attacker. Like that, we can write our own logic according to your attacker's requirement. Okay, so that is about the logic bomb. And coming to the backdoor, this is like the name itself indicates, generally we'll be having front door and back door for houses also. So if you don't know, if you don't have the access from the front door, what you will do, you will search for another door. If you want to enter into the inside of any house or office, if the front door people are not accepting, then what immediately we'll think about? We'll think about some other door, some backside, some other door might be there and all, right? So similar to that approach, corresponding to any electronic device, for directly accessing the device, we may require some credentials which are private information or sensitive information, which may be known to only the owner of the device. And it is little bit difficult to analyze and get those credentials. So immediately what attacker will think, okay, without that having the personal credentials, I would like to get access of the system, right? So for that, he will try to use this backdoor. So what the backdoor is nothing but, sometimes the manufacturer itself, if he has some malicious intention, so let us say take a router or phone or any other device like camera, whatever it is, the manufacturer, he wants to know what is going on inside this device. For that, he requires the access to our system, but the actual access will be from the front door by using the proper credentials, but the credentials will be modified by the user. So let us say I'm taking a new router, Wi-Fi router. By default, vendor will be giving me some username and password. But immediately after receiving and configuring, what I'll do, I'll try to change the credentials there. So now what will happen, that changed credentials will not be known to the vendor or manufacturer, but he wants access to his device. So for that reason, what he will do, at the time of manufacturing itself, he will plant a backdoor inside the device, so that if the request is coming on to particular backdoor, they will get the access of the system without asking for any username and password. These are very, very dangerous, and even some of the countries will be intentionally injecting these backdoors into the devices to know the pattern of people in the country. If some terrorist kind of activities are going on, they want to analyze. So for that reason, some countries will implicitly or what you call by knowingly they would like to inject these backdoors into the devices so that they can get access to the device without even having the credentials, and they can know about what is going on in the system. So these are very, very dangerous things. And next one is the Trojan horse. Yeah, this also you might have seen many number of times in your system. So the behavior of Trojan horse is like, generally if you see inside the Windows, you will be having explorer.exe or service.exe. These kind of files are system files which are well known. Now what this Trojan will do, if your system is compromised and if Trojan horse is in fact injected into your system, it will try to replace the original explorer.exe file, or it will try to replace original service.exe file with Trojan horse related code. File name will be the system process name, but underlying code will be the different one. So it will spoof that I am Mr. So and so, but not actually. Okay, so like that, the Trojan horse is also a very typical one, and might be 90% of the people among us might have already seen this Trojan horse. So your antivirus try to identify that behavior, whatever it is executing, irrespective of the name of the program, and it will be alerting you. This process is trying to do some malicious activity. Do you want to continue or something like that? It will try to give the alert to you. Okay, so that time you can see it might be a probable system process, but it is exhibiting some of the malicious behavior. That is because of some of the malware injections. And the next one is the spyware. What it will do is like it will be keep on spying on your activities, like what patterns you are browsing, like what banking websites you are using, what travel websites you are using. These kind of patterns it will try to spy on your activities, and those will be reported to the attacker. Now attacker will use that information for any other purposes, right? And the next one is rootkit. So rootkit is with respect to or specific to the operating system infections. So it will go and sit in the operating system, and it will try to analyze what applications you are executing, for what purpose you are executing, and it will try to replace some of the kernel's operating system level functionalities. So let us say your operating system will be booting, right? So that operating system also will be having only single file called kernel. Now what it will do, it will try to modify that single file of the operating system, and it will try to inject some piece of code into that file, right? So that is how it will try to infect the system and make some harm to the user of the system. So rootkits are majorly concerned with respect to the operating system level. And this bot or botnet, you might have already many times heard about this bot or botnet. This is like your system will be compromised by using some of the vulnerabilities in the system, but they will not do any harm to your system. But what they'll do is like they will try to use your system to create harm to any of the popular web services. So let us say you take an example of some kind of IRCTC or some kind of banking website. These are very popular, right? So what attacker will do, he will try to compromise multiple PCs, multiple systems, or multiple gadgets. He will not do anything harm to your system, but he will use your system as a resource to harm other systems, right? So your system will be always listening for the commands from that attacker, and it will listen to that attacker's command, and whatever he says, it will execute. Okay, so whenever there is a reverse engineering happened on the attack, they will come to know about your system, but they don't know anything about the attacker. Now the you will become the root cause of the problem, but you are not actually. It is being used by some other attacker. Okay, like that, they try to utilize your system for some malicious activities. They'll not create any harm to your system, but they'll utilize your system as a resource to make create harm to the other systems. So these are very abstract level introduction to all the categories of malware. So this is about Trojan. It will try to pretend that it is helpful program, but it destroys your data, damages your computer, and steal your personal information. So majority of the times, how the Trojan sensor enters into our system is through the pirated software or cracked software. So sometimes we'll be referring to some of the websites, and there we will be downloading some cracked software like that. So just for example, I'll give you, but it is not professional. Just for our discussion, I'm saying one application name. Many of the times, Windows operating system people will not purchase. They will try to take a crack from the internet. But we don't know whether that operating system image what you are downloading from the internet is that a genuine one, or already it is injected with some malware that we don't know, right? Because we are downloading it from some third-party website which is not known to us, which is not trustworthy, right? So that might be already having some kind of malware in it. So if you install that software in your system is compromised. You have your entire system's control is in the hands of attacker, right? So like that, one way of this is cracked software. So it may install this Trojan horse and backdoors, or the combination of both the things, Trojan backdoor, and this will give hackers access to your system remotely, and hacker can do anything with respect to your system, right? Even though he is not physically present in front of your system, he can remotely access every functionality and every application inside your system, right? So better try to avoid any compromised, cracked websites or cracked software. Always try to purchase from the genuine vendor. The licensed software, you try to take it, so that you can avoid these kind of malware issues. So we are saying like your system will get infected or compromised or affected, so many terminologies. What is the problem or what is the risk we'll get because of these infections or injections? So what will happen? One probable way is hackers could use your system and internet connection to spend spam SMS or emails. Okay, so a majority of the spam is generated by infected systems, because whenever any cybercrime department or whatever may be the department, if they want to track back from where it has been originated and from where we have received these things and all, they will get your system's details but not the attacker's details, right? So they will try to utilize your system for some malicious transactions or activities. That is the first thing. And second thing, your passwords can be stolen, and some sensitive information like credit card numbers, address, phone number, is both Linux and Windows are equally prone to malware. Yeah. So initially only Windows is having many of the malware in the market, but later what happened is many of the people has adopted this Linux operating system for their servers and their daily usage of the system and all. Then attacker has started analyzing this Linux based applications also. Sometimes maybe the entire OS is vulnerable, or sometimes only a installed application might be vulnerable, right? In Linux also we have PDF readers, we have music players, we have web browsers, we have so many other softwares. Now you can assume like Linux is sophisticated and it is a robust operating system where malware cannot come. But what happens? Because of the application, whatever you are installing inside your system, it will give the entry point to the hacker or attacker to enter into your system, right? So we can assume that both Windows and Linux is having so many kinds of malware. So we need to take precautions in all these cases. But majority of the people still using Windows systems. So because of that reason, majority of the attackers are also trying to infect Windows only, right? Only for some of the organizations or enterprise level, they are using Linux. But if you see normal home users, they will be only having Windows and they don't know anything about the Linux. Even if we ask, do you know Linux? They will say, what is it? Right? So like that, many of the people, even if you take some older ATMs also sometimes you can see it will be showing the Windows prompt, right? So it is Windows 7, something like that. On the display, it will be showing you the Windows prompt. So all these kind of legacy systems or home users are some legacy people still using Windows. They don't know anything about operating system, or they don't know anything about applications, or they don't know anything about security. They are just using a system, right? So for such kind of people, attackers will be trying to hack their systems and utilize their systems for these operations, malicious operations. But with respect to our terminology or analysis, we can understand that both the operating systems are prone to the malware attacks. But because of the limited users available in Linux, attackers are also limited. Because of that reason, malware is also limited. But it is not like Linux is very strong and it does not have any malware. Not in that intention, because of these percentage of users for each operating system. Attackers also will be following the same approach, right? Whatever whichever category is having the higher percentage, they want only that percentage to be infected. They don't want to go for a target for the least percentage category. Yeah. So coming back to our discussion, sir, with this explanation, I think I could answer your query. Thank you very much, sir. Coming back to our discussion, passwords can be stolen, and even all your sensitive information, whatever is sensitive with respect to some financial harm or some personal harm, all those details can be stolen, right? So if they know your phone number and your PAN number or some other sensitive information like your date of birth, marriage anniversary date, kid's birthday, these information is known. Now what attacker will do? Generally, many of the people will be keeping their passwords as maybe their spouse birthday, date of birth, or kids date of birth, or combination of both, or their phone numbers. These kind of things will be kept as password to easily remembering those things. So all this information we are also providing in our social networking or social engineering websites like Facebook, Twitter, right? All these places we are keeping. So if you are the target of the attacker, first of all, he will try to analyze all the social networking websites, and he will steal all your sensitive information. So from that sensitive information, he will try to form some of the keywords as passwords, and he will try to log into your bank account or log into your any of the other accounts by using your phone number or PAN number, right? So like that, he will try many of the possibilities. He has many permutations and combinations. He will try many of the things. So better always never share any of your personal information in the public websites, like your mobile number, PAN number, and your date of birth, marriage anniversary date. All these things are not required for your social engineering. Only why we will use that? People will be wishing us on our birthday. People will be wishing us on our anniversaries and all. But rather than those wishes, other side of the coin, you will be having these disadvantages with that sharing. So it is up to the user. He needs to decide which is important to him, and he can decide. Okay. And the third thing is, hackers will be continuously logging your activities. They'll try to read your emails and view the emails, download your documents in the systems or pictures, your some personal photos, videos, or any other private data. Any of these can be downloaded and kept for his own purpose, and he may later blackmail you to give some money. Okay, so like that. And previously we have discussed about one thing, bot or botnet. That is with respect to this attack, distributed denial of service. What the attacker will do is like all the compromised systems which are called as bots, he will utilize as a resource, and he will try to send traffic to a single website. So what will happen now? If many of the requests are going to a single website, that website will become unresponsive, and that software of the website will get crash. So what he will get? He is getting some denial of service. That website is getting crashed. So the reputation of the website will get damaged. So many of the clients will lose trust on that enterprise. So there are so many reasons for that. Okay. So maybe your competitors can give some amount to the attackers, and they can ask you to what you call hack, make that website as denial of service. Now attacker will try to compromise so many PCs, and he will try to at a time perform this denial of service on the other website. Okay, so like that, people will be utilizing your system as a resource to compromise or do some harm to the other systems. So they could even modify any of the system files. So they will try to modify the system files, disable antivirus, and delete any of the files and change the system settings. So he can do anything. Okay, he can even set a proxy, manual proxy in your system. So the proxy is like I'll show you in the coming slides. We have one slide on the proxy also. So I'll go through one scenario which is called ransomware. So you might have heard this name multiple times. So just I'll explain you what could be the possible scenario, how the attacker will be trying to infect your PC with this ransomware malware. Okay, so generally what will happen, attacker will try to compromise one website. Okay, or he will create a new website, and all the pages in the website are already infected with the malware. Both the possibilities are there. He can create his own website, and he will keep the malware inside that website, or else he will compromise one of the existing popular website, and now he will try to infect that website with malware content. Right, that is the first step. Attacker will try to infect this PC, and then attacker will try to send the spam messages, spam emails to click on this link to file your income tax, or check your refund, or avoid your cancellation, or your package is in the transit, we require some more information, you click on this link and give your details. Like that, so many parameters they will use to lure you to click on the link. Right, that is a kind of spam. So he will send the spam emails and messages to all the known emails or phone numbers. Generally, they will try to collect these emails and phone numbers from these third-party data sellers. In black market, many of the people will be selling our data. So we'll be giving our details to some of the shopkeepers. If the shopkeeper is not a trustworthy person, he can sell our data to the black market. Right? So now what will happen? Now this attacker will try to send spam to all these details. Yeah, this CNC server is nothing but command and control server. It will control the compromised systems, and it will be issuing the commands to the systems. Okay. And you're asking about CNC URL. Where is it? That might be the URL of this particular server. The server also will be hosted somewhere in the network. So we should first of all redirect the user to that command CNC server. For that, we require the URL of the CNC server. Once it is gone there, I'll explain you in a flow. Maybe then you can understand it better. So till now, what we have seen, one website is compromised or hosted by the attacker, and he is sending spam to many of the users through whatever details he has. email IDs and phone numbers. So once the users receive that, they will unknowingly click on the link, right? Because the matter also they will prepare like you will be get lured to click on the link. If you click on the links, you will win the lottery, or you have already won the lottery. You click on this link and give us the details. These kind of many kind of parameters they will try to use to lure you to click on that link, right? Once you click on the link, what will happen? It will go to this compromised website, and it will respond you back with the genuine web page, as well as in addition with the web page, they will try to send you some malware code. Okay, so what that malware code will do, this malware code, it will try to unpack or decrypt inside your system, and it will try to execute something. Whenever it is executing something, it will send a request to this CNC server. What this CNC server will do, it will try to capture the fingerprint of this system, client system, and based on the fingerprint, it will analyze is there any known vulnerabilities are available in those system software, and if there are any, they will try to send the corresponding malware to that system. Okay, right? That is the fourth step. It will try to analyze the system fingerprint, like what operating system it is running, what applications are there, what are the versions of applications, what is the version of the operating system, and for these versions, do we have any known vulnerabilities? So if I have any vulnerability, I'll send a corresponding malware to exploit that vulnerability. Okay, so that kind of analysis will be done at CNC server, and it will try to send the corresponding malware. Now, because this is a ransomware, rather than sending a malware, what it will try to send, it will try to take a public key, right, and a encryption algorithm. That might be his own encryption algorithm, or he might be using some of the existing encryption algorithms. So now what he'll do with this public key, and by using the encryption algorithm, he will try to encrypt all the files available in the system, right? And they will give you the alert like your system got compromised and all the files are encrypted in your system. If you want your files back, you give us some ransom. Ransom is nothing but you give us some payment, so that we'll give you the decryption key, right? So that will be the message given to you. Once you pay something, so here you can see after fourth step, fifth step is files are encrypted and user gets some ransom notification. So sixth step is user communication over our browser. So if the bitcoins are released, if the ransom is released, sometimes it might be bitcoins, sometimes it might be normal payment, or based on whatever they want. If they receive their money or financial related aspects, they will give you this private key, which is the secret key. So immediately it will try to decrypt all the files in your system, and it will give you the normal file system, right? But still, he has entered into your system because of some vulnerability existing, or because of some spam link. But still that vulnerability will be existing in your system only. He can again compromise your system, and he can again ask for the ransom, right? So the better approach is, if something happens like this, one thing is, if the data is not important to you, then you can simply format your system. Or if your data is very much important, if the data is lost, I will be losing some crores of money, then we don't have the option. You need to pay the money and get the key, and immediately you need to take the backup of the entire system, and you need to format your system. Okay, because the underlying vulnerability is not gone. He has taken some ransom and he has decrypted the files, but he has not fixed the actual vulnerability. So he may tell to another attacker, again that another attacker may compromise your system, and again he may ask for some ransom. Okay, so like that, so many scenarios also happened. So because of that reason, if some hack has happened, immediately you should reformat entire system and go for a genuine software or licensed software and install proper antivirus systems and keep all the softwares in a up-to-date fashion. Okay, so this is overall scenario of ransomware, but there might be many other variants, but this is one of the variant which I could explain you. So these are some sample messages. Yeah, sir, can we reuse affected? Yeah, sir, just now I answered that question, sir. Can we reuse ransomware affected system again? Malware may be there in some files. Yeah, that is what I am telling. So even though you paid some ransom and he has given you the decryption key, it is not guaranteed that he may again cause the same problem to you, or he may intimate to his fellow attacker, "Arey, I got this much amount of ransom from this system. You may also try." Then immediately what happens? Second attacker also will try to do the same thing. He may also get some ransom. So you will be losing money multiple times. So because of that reason, if the files are very much important, you need to pay them and you need to get the secret key immediately. First of all, you switch off the internet. If the internet connectivity is not there, nobody will be able to enter into your system through internet, right? And take the backup of your system and then reformat entire thing, and then you connect it back to internet. Okay. After reformatting also, don't install the same pirated softwares and all. You need to install some of the licensed software and keep your antivirus up to date, all the applications up to date. Then only we can ensure that, okay, up to some extent, my system is secure. Because already we understood that 100% there is no guarantee that one system is secure, right? One or other day, there might be some unknown vulnerabilities cracked by some of the attacker. He may try to infect your system. Okay, so these are some of the sample messages. They will be using multiple softwares to send the messages and ask you for the payment and all. So this is one more scenario which is happened on mobile ransomware. So what they have done is like they have crafted a malicious spoofed application saying that this is from NSA or this is from the government. Okay, what they'll ask you is like, okay, provide us your PIN so that we can encrypt something, or like that. They'll give you some kind of alert which will give you the trust on that application, and look and feel wise everything will be the same. Okay, so when you say mobile application, many of the people does not know anything about from which manufacturer this has been come, whether it is certified by some of the security certifications and all those kind of things are not known to many of the people, right? Only the security awareness people will be knowing about all these things. So normal people, they'll simply install this and they'll try to click on that links or whatever they are asking for. Immediately they can compromise entire phone. Okay, so like that, mobile ransomware is also there. So that has happened because of fake FBI warnings on users' lock screens, and they asked for some kind of details, and then they have encrypted all the things in the phone, and they were asking some ransom for unlocking. Okay, so these kind of attacks are also happened. So till now we have seen the working procedure of these ransomware. Just I'll go through one code level analysis. Maybe you understand, or otherwise also it is okay. Just I will take you through that feel and look and feel. So how they will try to implement inside the application logic. Okay, so just listen to that and you try to understand. Even though if it is you are not aware of the coding and all, it is okay. Don't worry about that. Just you can try to get a exposure to what is going on inside. So just I will go through the procedure what is followed for non-malicious website as well as malicious website. For non-malicious website, all of us know about this. This is the genuine user, and this is a legitimate website, genuine website. Okay, user searches something, that means for the website like irctc.co.in or onlinesbi.co.in. So with that, it will go to that corresponding server, and it will see what user is asking for, whether he is asking for login page or some other details. So it will see, and the corresponding details will be responded to the user. Now the corresponding response will be received by the user, and then what will happen? The response will be processed at the user end, and the corresponding web page will be displayed to the user. Okay, this is the genuine procedure. Now we'll go with some malicious procedure. What will happen now? Here the website is compromised with some malware. Okay, so he is the normal user. He daily uses the website, but today he don't know that that website got compromised. Okay, yesterday the website is working fine and it is a genuine website, but over the night attacker has compromised something in the website and he has injected some malware into the website. Now what will happen? He is trying to request something from the server or website. It will try to send the corresponding response. In addition with the response, it will also send the malware code. Here you can see this is sending the malware code. Okay, so what will happen now? It will be executing both the logics, normal genuine logic, genuine code, as well as malware code inside his user's PC, right? And when the attack code is processed, when this attack code is processed, it uses information about the victim's computer. That is nothing but it will capture the system's behavior, like what is the operating system it is running, what applications are running, what are the versions of these things. All those fingerprinting or footprint will be calculated or captured, and it will try to select suitable exploits or malware from a pool of available exploits. Right? And once it is able to identify that exploits, those exploits will be downloaded onto our computer, and then it will try to execute those malware in our system, and it will try to compromise entire system. Okay, initially only we will be receiving the first level malware, which will try to analyze our system and send the details to the attacker, right? And attacker will try to send the suitable malware with respect to our system footprint, and that malware will be responded to the user. Now user will be executing the user means without any manual intervention. All the things will happen automatically in the background. Okay, so on the user's computer, the corresponding malware will get executed, and it will try to compromise entire system. It will give the remote access to the attacker so that he can do anything on the system. Okay, there are so many types of compromises are there. One worst case is like your system control is given to the attacker. Now he can see whatever you are doing in your system. He can follow your browsing patterns. He can see whatever you are typing in your computer, right? So let us say you are typing the URL onlinesbi.com. After that, immediately whenever he sees that website, next to what you will be typing, obviously your username and password. So whatever the text he is receiving after that URL, he will assume that those are your usernames and passwords. And after some time, whenever you log out from your session, immediately he will log in with your credentials, right? So like that, there are possibilities. So like this, we have so many possibilities. Even though if keyboard is not given the control, then what he can do, he may take the control of screenshot. With screenshot, what he will be able to do, for every key, whatever you are clicking, he will take a screenshot. Okay, so this is helpful when you are using virtual keyboard. You might have seen in the recent operating systems we are getting virtual keyboards, right? So whenever you are clicking your mouse, for every click he will capture a screenshot. Then he can combine all the screenshots and he can easily get your password, right? So like that, so many other possibilities are there. So this is the overall generic flow of this infection. Initially, the user will visit a buggy website or vulnerable website where some kind of malware is injected. Okay, so what will happen now? Whenever it is being visited, it will immediately send the malware, or we can say in technical terms, exploit payload. and it will try to payload will be downloaded onto the user system, and it will get executed on the user system. So once it is getting executed, it may give the shell access. That means the control. It will be giving the control in a remote fashion to the attacker, and it will be listening for the attacker's commands. Right? So it will be keep on only listening for the attacker commands, and it will be in foreground. It will be doing all your application tasks. Whatever your application you are opening, it will normally open and it will do as it is. There is no difference for you as a user. Can we find the traces of ransomware attack through the logs? If yes, which are the logs which can be used to trace it? That again depends on how they have entered into your system. If it is through some vulnerability of a application, now you need to look at the corresponding application logs. But before that, first of all, you need to know because of what application he has entered into my system, right? So that will not be known to us mostly. But if you are able to know about that application, immediately you can look at that application related logs. And where the logs will be there, there will be standard location for the logs of applications or logs of system processes, right? In Linux, at least in Linux, the logs of location is a /var. If you are well aware of the Linux operating system, I can help you. In /var directory, you will be able to find logs of entire system related applications. In Windows, I'm not sure, but definitely there will be a standard location for logs of the application and logs of the system processes. But before that, first of all, you need to understand through by using which application the attacker has entered into my PC, right? So then only you can do that. I hope I could answer your question, sir. Just a minute, 1 minute.
Sir, we'll take a 5 minutes break. After 5 minutes, we will gather again around the 3-1 something. Thank you.
Okay, sir, sure.
Yeah. Ravi sir, shall we start the session and conclude in 2 minutes?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes.
So previously we are discussing about this infection.
అసలు ఈ రికార్డింగ్ ఇబ్బంది అయిపోయింది.
Naresh sir.
బ్రేక్ ఇచ్చి మనం సేవ్
Hello. Hello, Naresh sir. Hello. Okay. So we were discussing about this flow of this infection. So we thought of seeing, have a look at about that how they will be infecting the website and all. So what they'll try to do is like they'll try to create some kind of hidden property in the web page. So this is a kind of frame. In most of the websites, whenever you are visiting, either at the right hand side or top side or left side, you will be able to see some of the small frames with some advertisements. Something like you have visited inside Amazon this product, so it is available on this cost. Something like that, you will be able to see some of the advertisements, right? So those are we'll be calling it as frames. So here, rather than displaying that Amazon website and all, the link can be given to the attacker's website, and you can observe here the width of that frame and height of the frame is 1 and 1, and visibility is hidden. Okay, that means it will not be shown to the user, it will not be displayed on the browser, but still the functionality will be running in the background. So what will happen now, it will be not displayed the foreground or front end, but in the background it will be sending the or referring to this URL. That URL belongs to some attacker's website. Okay, so once it is referred to this URL, it will try to send some attacker's payload at this landing page code, which is payload, where it is sending something like this, which is some malware code in a encoded format. So because of this encoding, many of the antivirus or plugins and all for the browser, they may not be able to detect this code as a malicious thing. Okay, so it will be simply avoiding that. Okay, there are no malicious properties are used and all, it is a normal code only, like that it will obey, it will allow, right? So because of that reason, what will happen, it will try to get executed in your system, and it will compromise your entire system. Okay, so this is from this ransomware. You can also type this name in the internet, you can get more in-depth analysis if you are interested. Buggy ransomware via Apache's black hole exploit kit. It is from the open source only. It is available in many of the research analysis websites. You can also go through if you are much interested to go in depth. So I would like to tell you these entry points of malware. Till now we have seen what are the various categories of malware and how the working procedure will be followed, and some analysis with respect to code level and all. Now we can discuss about entry points of malware, where these are the 3 entry points majorly attackers will be concentrating on. First one is the applications. Whatever the applications is being run inside your system, they will try to analyze whether that application is an updated one or outdated one, and whether that application has some vulnerabilities in it or it is a genuine one. And coming to second case, it is portable storage devices. Mostly it is with respect to our USB or pen drives or hard disk or any other USB devices. Okay, so what generally people what they will try to do is they will try to use same pen drive for professional as well as personal life. And for personal life, he may not require a licensed software, so he has downloaded some cracker software and he is using. Now whenever he inserts this pen drive at home PC, because of that cracker software, maybe the system got compromised. Now that compromise or infection or malware will come and sit in the pen drive. Now, whenever you are inserting that pen drive in the enterprise location or environment, what will happen? It will try to infect your system in the enterprise, and you are connected in a LAN environment now. It will try to scan all other pieces in your office environment, and it will try to inject or infect all those pieces. Okay, so that kind of possibilities are there with this USBs and web browsers. Just now we have seen we'll be getting these kind of attacks through web browsers. Whenever we visit any of the compromised website, we may download some malware unknowingly, and it will get executed. So previously we were discussing something about if the known malware is there, antivirus will be able to detect. But if there is a vulnerability existing in the software, but which is not reported by anybody till now, right? So that kind of vulnerabilities, if any person has identified, that is called as zero-day malware, right? It is not reported by anyone till date. It might be existing since long back, but nobody has till now reported it or analyzed it. So that kind of malware we will be calling it as zero-day, right? So whenever, this is the statistics about, these are the statistics about zero-day malware. So in 2020, first half of 2020, these are the zero-day malwares discovered in very much popular companies: Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Firefox, Trend Micro. Right? So these are the list of zero-day malware detected in first half of 2020. Right? Those much bigger gains software also is having some of the vulnerabilities which are not known till now. There is a very big possibilities there for these vulnerabilities. So coming to this anti-malware solutions. So if you anytime see how your antivirus solution is configured, some pages will be displaying you signature based is configured, as well as heuristic based is configured. In front of heuristic, you can say low level, medium level, and high level. Okay, so I'll explain you the differences between these two categories. First one is if a virus has come into the market, immediately what these antivirus people will do, they will try to analyze the virus, and they'll identify what are the operations the virus is performing. Let us say it is deleting a file, it is creating a file, or it is modifying a file. Like that, all the behaviors of that corresponding virus will be captured, and those will be formulated as a signature or pattern. In our terminology, we can call it as pattern, but in technical terms, that will be called as signature of the virus. So like that, the signature will be captured, and it will be given to all the antivirus solutions, and the corresponding signature will be included in their database. Okay, so then that updated signatures will be released to the users as an update. Generally, you might have observed that antivirus will be asking you to update the signatures. So that signature is nothing but recent vulnerabilities or recent malware signatures. Until and unless you update your antivirus, it will not be able to detect those recent malware related infections. Okay, so even though it is identified today, your antivirus will not be able to detect it today. Why? Because they need to first of all analyze the virus or malware. They need to capture the behavior. They need to formulate it as a signature, and that needs to be incorporated in their software, and that needs to be released to the user. User has to download it. Then only your system's antivirus will be able to detect that kind of virus. Otherwise, until then, antivirus is present in your system, but still it will not be able to detect that recent virus. That is the problem with signature based. So because of that reason, vendors has come up with one more kind of solution, which is heuristic based. So what this heuristic based does is like, it will try to first of all analyze generally this malware, what kind of patterns it will try to do. Maybe it is like we have some system files, program files, and some of the sensitive files in the configuration directories and all. Right, so they will try to update or modify or delete those files. Those will be the generic characteristics of any virus but the sequence of those operations might differ. So the general behavior is formulated as a set of rules, and we call that as a heuristic antivirus rules. So what it will does is like whenever the application behavior is not matched with any of the signature, immediately they will check with the heuristic rules. That means if it is because of 0-day malware, signatures will not get updated immediately. So they will try to match that behavior with the heuristics. Whether the corresponding applications related operation is matching with the normal behavior or it is misbehaving according to these heuristic rules. So if it is something misbehaving, immediately it will give you, it is performing abnormally. So I am temporarily blocking it. You take a decision whether you want to allow or deny. Okay. So because of the 0-day malware, the 0-day malware is nothing but it is not known previously, not reported previously, but it is a new malware. So because of that reason, we are going for this heuristic based. So always try to utilize any anti-malware solution which is having both signature wise as well as heuristic wise components. It will give you more robustness to your antivirus solution, and it will try to block most of the unknown malware also. So these are some of the popular mitigations to 0-day malware. You can first of all whitelist what applications you would like to run inside your system. Sometimes what will happen, it will try to download some of the malicious applications and it will be running those applications in the background without knowing to the user. So first of all, you need to use this application whitelisting. This is a facility given by many of the security products. Even we have our own CDAX application whitelisting software, and all the antivirus solutions also provide this application whitelisting softwares. You need to install this or enable the feature in the antivirus solutions, and you need to say what applications are trusted by you. You run only those applications. Remaining applications you don't allow to run. Okay. So next one is heuristic anti-malware solutions. This just now we have discussed. So you need to have this heuristic one, otherwise the 0-day malware cannot be detected. And update your browser software and antivirus softwares regularly. And do not visit any reported attack websites. Some of the websites will be identified as some malicious intention, and your antivirus will try to block that reported websites. If it is blocking that website, then you need to take a call. By default, it will not allow you to browse it. If you want to browse it in any cost, you need to disable your antivirus and you need to browse it. But that is not recommended. Right? So I think time permits.